Hi, Lauren Hughes here with Integrity Home Group and Keller Williams Preferred. We're still discussing credit scores and tips and tricks how to get your credit up higher. We were just discussing about doing the dual payment and the repercussions or benefits of that. And I'm still looking at my credit report right now that I have up, and I do not pay for the credit reports. I just do the free Experian monitoring every year, or since they've had that data breach. And then I do check all three of my credit scores whenever it's free, about once a year. So right now, actually, let's just be completely transparent. I've got a 780 right now, and it's actually gone down recently, which really kind of perturbs me that it's not above 800. But I've actually not been able to get it above 800 because of an error that I made about 2 years ago, and it had my score was around 810 to 812, around that point, until 2 years ago I missed a single payment to Wells Fargo while I was in the hospital for cancer treatment, and actually I had an 8-inch incision that was opening up on my neck and my face, and so, well, I missed the payment. So that's the long story short. And so I've tried to remediate that, and so 2 years later, it still probably affected my score by 20 to 30 points, which really just ticks me off because I like having that high credit score. And there's a couple things that you can do to change that. And let's talk about them, and then we can talk about how negotiable Wells Fargo is and why I canceled everything I have with them. But that was my personal opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. We're telling you what to do with Wells Fargo, so don't sue me. What I have done, you can go actually into your report and you can see all your payments, and you get to see your payment history for all your various credit cards. If for some reason, like my one for Wells Fargo, I've got a little red 30 that's in there with one credit history since 2004. I actually opened that account in 2004, perfect history except for 1 month, and when I was in the hospital, and it was 30 days, or it said 30 days late, even though I think it was only a few days late, but it was technically 30 days late with how they report it, and they report everything. And so there's a couple things you can do after it's in there. Let me tell you what I did to try to get it gone. It's still there though. You can usually go and inquire with the credit card agency and just say, hey, blah, 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 this happened. Anyway, we can, since I have a history since 2014 and this is now 2018, we've got over a decade of experience. Sometimes they'll actually remove it for you. If you just call and you're very nice and polite and just say, hey, this happened, and they typically will do that for you. Well, sometimes. Wells Fargo, it didn't work for me, but it has worked for me in the past, and it's not for people that are repetitive, normally late. It's this for like goofs, random goofs that are still affecting my credit score almost 3 years later. And so sometimes they will just kind of get rid of it. They're like, all right, as long as it doesn't happen again. And with that said, you can also sometimes call them if you then get triggered a higher APR or a higher interest rate. You can sometimes call, and sometimes they'll waive your late payment. They might waive that, whatever your credit card goes from 17% to like now it's like 27.99% because you missed a single payment. You can sometimes call and just say, hey, I made a mistake. Is there anything we can do? And I would say it's always worth the phone call, because until you make that phone call, the answer's no, and you've got this outrageously high interest rate, which I don't know how on earth anyone can pay those, because, well, I've never been successful paying those, but what I have, like giving them a call and just asking, hey, can we get kind of a mulligan here? And chances are they're pretty nice. Like American Express, I love American Express, and if ever I do anything, I'm like, hey guys, I just screwed up. I'm sorry, I forgot to pay this, or something of that nature. I've always had great success for them, which is why I continue to use them to this day. They're one of my favorite companies. But any company that you use, it's always worth that first phone call to say, hey, can we fix this? Can we mulligan this? Can we Groundhog Day this? Whatever you want to say. So thank you for the second tip. Come follow me for video number 3.